What's
the
up,
guy we had on the
everyone?
show.
Welcome back to the Trainman Report. I'm about to turn on all the good AI stuff so that we can get good summaries after the fact with less effort. So 1 second, y'all. Recording
work if
this,
you have
sending
to.
it to the cloud. No, it's just
Recording
it's better.
in progress.
So instead of having to try to multitask in the show, I can focus here and the computer can listen to us. That's the future, everyone. That's the present, actually. That's what you should be doing.
Robots are not taking over people. They are
This
not.
is the 37th episode. You know what? Nah, because none of us could afford to pay people to do this. So trust, robots are not taking over on this one. This is just shit people did in overtime that they no longer have to do.
And that's what we tell ourselves. That's right.
That's how it starts. That's a valid
That's how
point.
it starts,
It
man.
won't end there. But episode 37, my name is Holden Stefan Roy. We have Alex, the Trainman Montagano. Oh my God, Joe
Hey, Alex.
Shozu?
Chaoshu.
Chaoshu.
Who?
I've been
Chaoshu.
practicing.
I
Look in
was
the mirror.
Alright, back with us. It's been a hot minute. The man has been living life, doing life things, and I can tell you one thing: you should always go do and live life things, and turn down other things when you're doing it. As an advisory, I'm gonna go be looking at whales in Tadoussac next Wednesday, which means next Tuesday I'll be in some fancy dinner shit, not here on the podcast with y'all, because we're gonna be out in Tadoussac parts. Live your life when it
disappoints
happens.
me.
I know it happens sometimes, Alex, but the lady wants to see whales, and I spent $500 on VIP whale watching tickets so we could get the cabin, not be up with the people. It's gonna be special.
You don't want to be up with the people.
Nah,
You're far
I
away
really
from
don't.
the people.
I want to be down at the whale level in an
Right.
area that has a maximum of 20 people if I'm gonna be watching whales for 3
Right on.
hours.
You
Personally.
want that whale exclusivity.
Absolutely. Worked real hard for it in my life.
You know, it's a little ironic, they're holding that you're telling me that you're not going to be here next week for the show because you're taking your lady to see the whales, but I couldn't make it to your show last
could
Sunday
not.
night, and because of my lady, and you're giving me a hard time about
And
it.
I
You're always
will.
blaming women.
And I expect
You're always
that
blaming
in the
women
future.
for all your social foibles.
It's what happens.
Bunch
But
of
yes,
pussies.
I did perform.
I just want to put that on the table, man.
I did perform last Sunday, and Alex did not come, despite the fact that there was an opportunity for pickle tomfoolery.
Yes.
We've worked out my new partnership of sorts with this pickle company is they're my ops, and I hate them publicly. But we're gonna plug their products all over my shit. Like they're gonna
Amazing.
show up on stage and be like, "This is fucking disgusting. These cherry
Amazing.
blast fucking pickles. Who likes
Amazing.
pickles here?" And so that's where we're going with it. That's right, y'all. If you need somebody to hate your products and help you sell it, pickle related. It makes sense. It makes sense. That
It's
being
starting
said,
to
on the
sink in.
subject of Bonjour-Hi, I did
Wow.
manage to acquire one of them joints from the John Jordan collection, the V1s, we'll call them. I got a cat one too, so extra special. That's right. And it made its debut in Saint Laurent and on Saint Laurent Street. So it's now left NDG officially. It's not
Wow,
just
and it's on the
one
dividing line of east and west as well. How
So
poignant.
over at around Rue de Luth, across from Cinema L'Amour, is a less L'Amoured place where people do cocaine in the bathroom called Blue Dog, and we performed there. Where I can't say if that happened or not, but I can say that during my performance, I think what I'm gonna do is during the last song, have some people hold up the banner in the back of the set, and when I did that, the amount of phones that came out and were like, "Yo, what did he just bring?" The combination of the cat and the Bonjour-Hi, brah, this is some fucking, like, if you think this could go real far, the civilian population has not encountered it. It's just been boring mainstream media that people are not reading. It's still got all the fire in it. That's
Hey.
what I saw, bro.
That's
That's
exciting.
That
That's
is
exciting.
exciting.
Something's going on. Something fun and different
Yeah.
is going on.
We could really make that a thing, is what I'm trying to say. Now, I'm not the artist, because your boy has never graffitied a fucking thing in his life. But since people may know the artist, let's talk, yo. Let's make this a fucking wave.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hear
Well. Yeah, Joel, can you turn up your microphone a tad there, or
Turn it
can you
up?
can you
Yeah.
help him there? He's a little low.
There's nothing I can do to help him. That's all on his side.
Hold on.
I can only control the volume of you. You're
Is
two
that better?
against me.
That is
better.
better. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's much
Okay,
better.
perfect. I figured it out.
But yeah,
Yeah,
what
so
other
that's
Bonjour High
interesting.
updates do we have? Because I know that's a new topic
Well,
we're gonna have
you know,
every
this
week.
Bonjour-Hi, yeah, the Bonjour-Hi has gone multilingual, and multicultural, because there was a Kamasta, Tagalog version of it that just popped up 2 blocks from my front door here in Snowdon, in front of the church on Isabella, and it's a big one, and it's colorful. It's got like a sunrise logo. Like, really, and actually, as of yesterday, it's still there, which tells me that that has lasted about a week,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is the longest one
Well,
of
is
the
that
tag
one's in
artworks to
Cotonage,
last.
right? Or is
I'm
that in
sorry?
NDJ? Is it in
That's
Cotonage or
in Snowdon.
NDJ?
That's in Snowdon. That's in Snowdon. That's just
Right.
west of the Carry, right near McDonald Park.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
people.
it's right there on the sidewalk. It's right in front of this big church, and there's already been, like, I don't recall. I remember posting something on Facebook when it appeared, but I don't recall if it's gone through a weekend, which means mass, which means people have walked from their cars right over that sidewalk into the church. But I think it's probably very much appreciated in this part of town. And I think it's also interesting to note that it hasn't been removed yet by city crews. So maybe the addition of another language that perhaps is valued by the political powers that be or sought after has a guaranteed durability. But that would be cynical of me to suggest. So I won't suggest
It would be very cynical for you to suggest that, Joel.
It would be. No, but I do hear that that it's crossing more boundaries. That it's coming across more boundaries, more linguistic boundaries, more cultural boundaries, and more municipal boundaries as well. But
what's
that'll
really
be.
interesting about it too is, like, I often have conversations about trying to capture the essence of Montreal, because if you're a musician trying to represent the city to a broader audience, it has to be something that both connects with the locals but also makes sense once you leave Quebec. Otherwise, you're not really capturing the essence. You're sort of not. It's just not going to hit the mark. This Bonjour-Hi shit might just be it, because in 2 words, it captures what everybody thinks about Quebec right away. It's some French weirdo place. Instantly, first thought everyone has. And then, like, it also kind of, like, the fact that you have to say it is implied. I don't know. It's a really interesting symbolism.
Or that it's
fuck
such
with.
a hot topic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and people
there's
know what it means across. Like, everyone's sort of aware that language politics are a thing. They're not fully aware, but they can connect with that. And I'm like, this is, in 2 words, it might just capture what it means to be a Montrealer.
It's a little
Even
bit
the-
like the forbidden fruit, if I can throw that one in.
Well, listen. You know, I think the fact that as a woman I interviewed for my story on it recently about it getting more and more popular amongst people who want to actually have it on their own property, said it's the petty and the grumpy who have a problem with it, and it's the reaction to Bonjour-Hi that's given it its value, because if Bonjour-Hi is just left alone, if people get to speak whatever the language they want, if the customer is always right, if the great crime is people saying the word hi in public, in an establishment, if that angers people to no end, that it causes denunciations in Parliament, that it causes the mayor to speak on it, to denounce it, then it should be said. Then people should use it. You're just asking for trouble. If you're going to get petty, if you're going to get into the dirt, you're going to get dirty. This is what people are upset about. This is what the Quebec Parliament denounced. They didn't denounce all the people, all the seniors who died in their diapers during COVID, dehydrated in their own feces. They didn't denounce that, but they denounced the use of Bonjour-Hi. So this tells you the nature, the tone and timbre of discourse in this province. That's the story it tells, and that's why every time you use it, you say it, you see it. It's a little bit of a victory for the normal.
It's almost an act of resistance,
really,
a little bit, right?
But it's something that's cool about it is that it's also very popular with the French kids. It's not just like, because like I've been saying on the show a whole bunch whenever language comes up. If you go under the age of 40, the attitude is wildly different, to a point where at 36, I barely experience a lot of the language divisiveness that gets.
Not a beat.
I remember it from when I'm younger, but I don't experience it with
doesn't matter.
young people.
It's not relevant to you. not
No,
relevant
no,
to
no.
kids.
What I'm saying is that everybody speaks both languages so fluently
Yeah,
that like it's not a divide. We just do it
right,
because
right.
we
Listen, if
had
you don't
to.
like Bonjour-Hi, then ban Netflix.
But what I'm
That's all I
saying
can
is
say.
is
Ban
that
the internet like China.
the
That's
Quebec,
it.
but from the
Parts of
French
the
side,
internet.
they also had to learn to speak English, and so they
Right,
went through their own version of it, and they also
right,
accomplished their own struggle, and they
right.
take pride in that shit. The same way that, like, yo, I'm proud I speak French and shit. Like, I
When
know
you're
it's
trying to
whatever.
make people feel ashamed for something they should feel proud about, you know you're on the wrong side of the morality
Right.
clause. And
But
that's
what that
what
results
the
in
haters
is
are.
most people, I think, can really connect with Bonjour High because the French people also think it's a ridiculous waste of government money for the most part to have language police. This isn't like the popular fucking narrative in Montreal that anybody thinks
Right,
it's cool.
right.
So like you really get like Bonjour High could bridge the gap between English and French communities fed up with the same bullshit, where we
Sure,
don't even necessarily ever connect with the other side of the fence on that.
sure. Well, the La Presse picked up on my story. They picked up
Yeah.
on my story, and La Presse covered it. And this wasn't Journal de Montréal sensationalism or Quebecor horseshit. This was La Presse reporter wrote it up, got in contact with the person, the perpetrator, with the perp, and did a respectful take on it. So I
Yeah,
was impressed with
I
that.
was impressed with the press article. That the journalists actually visited NDG and
Yeah, they
interviewed
brought a
people.
photographer and they went to
Yeah,
multiple spots. Yeah, yeah.
it was not how you would say a
It was not a
summer
hit job.
like a quick feel good
It wasn't a
fluff.
quickie. Yeah,
No,
no. They wrote a
no,
story about it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but that's good journalism, right? And La
yeah,
Presse still does that, so good for them.
yeah. Well, you do
I'm
good
just
journalism, Joel. You
you
know,
do, Joel.
hey,
Sometimes when I'm awake. I
I
wasn't
do
awake
want to
today,
see
man. I was
I want to see
tired.
what this evolves into, right? Like, I don't know if tagging the sidewalk is the most sustainable movement, but like honestly, there's a lot of legal ways to now keep this running. Like,
Hmm.
as like, yo, people like I saw somebody took that black tar paper shit. Is that what it is?
mm,
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that on.
And
I
then
saw
I
that on
saw that on
Thrive.
a
I think.
balcony. Somebody put it on their like balcony. My balcony don't face no fielding, so whatever. Nobody's gonna see it. But like now that it can be used, if the artist is listening, I'm not saying
Hard
franchise it
paper.
for
You mean what they
profit.
put under shingles, right?
I don't know, the black fucking paper that
Yeah,
somebody
that
said
stuff
if
lasts.
dogs
Like
eat
that
this
stuff
shit,
can endure the
somebody
elements,
was like,
right?
if your animal eats it, they'll die. And then there was a whole debate about that. I
Yeah,
was like,
you know
okay.
what? I gotta say, I remember one of my favorite,
yeah.
uh,
If your
my
animal puts it in
favorite,
a blender
one of my
and puts it
favorite,
in a drink and consumes it,
one of my
it
favorite
might get sick and die.
one of my favorite conversations in NDG Thrive was when somebody complained that somebody was brushing their dog in the park and said they left big clumps of hair in the park and it was disgusting. And who do I call? And people had a whole bunch of suggestions on who she should call. And it was really, and some of them offered like mental health services. So I find it like if every conversation about everything everybody does at any point in time in any place for any purpose has to go through the filter of what if your animal eats it? Well, then you just gotta either just don't get out of bed in the morning, man. Like, just don't do it. Stay in
I
bed. Just
mean, I looked at the
fuck the
cats and
world.
I said, I'm pretty sure cats are smart. They're like, that shit'll kill me. I shouldn't eat that. Because they like sniff everything before they fucking eat it.
Yeah.
And they only eat
Their
stuff
life is
that
all
they
about
think they're.
instinct. Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I
mean,
tell you,
no, I'll be real
I,
with you. I do think dogs are stupid as shit in that regard and will, in fact, eat all of it. So,
You know
dog
what?
owners.
And dogs. See, here's the thing. Dogs. I don't think they're stupid. They're just shameless.
No, I
Because
love dogs, though.
my
This
my
is like a
girlfriend.
love
Listen,
place.
I was jonesing for peanut butter. That's my vice. And I was jonesing for a sandwich, and my girlfriend made me a big honking motherfucker peanut butter sandwich. And I turned to the fridge to go get something to drink, and I heard, "Oh no!" And there's the lab, like under the kitchen table, like disappeared it. It like vaporized in about 5 seconds. It was so violent and abrupt. I felt so violated. It was horrible.
you
It was.
felt
I'm still
violated, eh?
no. It was just so. It was so brazen. The crime was so brazen. It was like a home invasion.
And in your face too, right? Look at me.
Fucker. That's why I'm a cat person.
Joel, we
Hey,
have a
Okay,
Buster.
comment.
guys. I'm
Joe,
starting to die here.
we have a comment from Andy Francioni who would like to know
Yes.
why you seem to prefer the angry phone as your favorite archetype of our community.
I don't prefer the Anglophone as an
Uh,
archetype. Well, who said I do? I think
Andy.
that's
Andy said
actually a
it.
shitty archetype. I think that's something that's been imposed on Anglophones to make them feel bad about asking for their rights to be respected,
I
their
agree.
historical presence to be acknowledged.
You
And
never
it's
cut
very
me.
easy to say angry
Yeah,
phones. Hold on.
yeah,
That said,
right.
I do sometimes have a problem with people who uh, too much navel gazing, too much full outrage about, I don't know, IKEA removes an apostrophe, or I heard somebody complaining about a unilingual cake in a window of a bakery at Costco, of a
Right,
refrigerated cake,
right,
or Baskin Robbins.
right.
To me, that's horseshit. I'd be more concerned about the cops carrying guns and the right to take away your freedoms, about a doctor, a nurse, an emergency room worker, a judge not being able to parlez-vous, or a government employee whose task it is to provide you with information and services. But this angry phone stuff, nah, I don't think
What's up,
I don't
Trainman?
like
I
it,
see you.
and I don't actually appreciate it either. And we're stuck with it sometimes. But
I will say,
people earn
I
it
called
themselves.
I called the government recently, and I hit 9 for service in English, and it gave me this long ass automated message. And
Yeah,
you know what it ended with? If you're entitled to school in English, you can get services in English. If in
yeah,
good faith, that's some
that's,
shit.
yeah,
You press the button. I did,
right.
and I got help in English, and it was amazing. And I
It's a
know this
solemn
message is
declaration, sure.
relatively
Honor
new because
system.
apparently the message, and I just wanted to know. I just wanted people to know that at least for campaign season, that's what's up. You can get help in
Yeah,
English during campaign season.
it's this declaration. They're going on the honor system.
But it was
They
cool.
think you're
And
honorable. They're asking you to be honorable enough to declare that you're eligible to be spoken to in one of Canada's official languages. They're counting
Okay,
on you to be honorable.
that's a
okay,
real
guys.
thing.
But I do have a question, okay? Because I'm observing something here. Like Holden, you said, uh, how can anybody, be against Bonjour-Hi and Joel, you mentioned rightfully that they condemn it in the National Assembly and they won't condemn
Under a certain
people
age.
dying in COVID and stuff like that. I think they even passed a motion, did they not? I think they did. And my
What
question,
difference does it make? It's total nonsense.
yeah,
Yeah.
but my
Yeah.
question is that if that's the case, right? And you see Holden in the younger generation under 40
The
looks really,
Montreal younger generation,
yeah, okay,
not
fair
the full
enough.
Quebec province.
Okay, but
Let's be
if that's
specific.
the case, right? Why is it in the city of Montreal like this has traction? It has traction out there. It does. It
With the
comes from
Bonjour High,
no, the don't say Bonjour-Hi. Like it creates this kind
I
of like
mean,
reactionary like
Yeah.
kind of
there's
response
people who
from
believe the
certain
government,
groups
right?
that
Like there's just
clearly
always going to.
it's coming from a place of a spite,
Well,
Well,
listen,
like
resentment.
Alex, there
Why
are
does it
people who
continue to
believe the
exist? That's my
government.
question.
There are people who believe the government. There are people who believe the news, and they take that shit for a fact.
you
That's
get what you
always.
give. You get what you give. If this Bonjour-Hi shtick that's going around the last couple of months is done in bad faith, in mean-spirited way, that it's going to receive that. But if it's done as this fun, as this lady Nancy told me, she said it's uplifting, and
So
another person
like,
told me it's joyful. We like it. It's happy. Why not? That may make it value.
but you
That'll
have to
give it
like also
value.
like look at how it's branded, right? So let's say your whole life is French for whatever reason. You're in one of them places where that's the case, and you watch the news and shit, and it just feels like these fucking English people are just imposing a bunch of shit on your reality
Right.
because you don't have nobody in your life that speaks English because you live in some part of Montreal where this would make sense. You're old, you don't go past 4 blocks from your crib, and you're only in the same fucking local coffee shop every day with a bunch of other people who watch the same Fox News French equivalent, and I don't know what it is, but whatever the Quebec equivalent is, and like they fucking just
know what
they get like indoctrinated
Yeah.
with this shit. I
Right.
don't think that the government and media articles that get flushed down because they're citing the government are random. These motherfuckers are got real
Listen,
strategists on their team that
there's
know
an
what the fuck they're
ecosystem.
doing.
There's an
But
ecosystem of outrage on every
And
topic,
then
and the language it's been
that
owned for like decades.
And so when you have a random Facebook post that happens to go past your little bubble and now hits the bigger population, the only people that will ever be seeing that are angry, because that's what Facebook do. It's not other platforms where the debate might be bigger. It's just artificially driven anger for capitalism.
Well,
That's
yeah,
why this shit exists.
it's for power.
In my
Listen,
opinion.
was anybody
But we're
watching
saying
the
the same
city
thing.
council
Power,
yesterday?
capitalism, come on, same thing.
Was anybody watching city
No, but
council
please
yesterday?
tell. Please tell.
So this is not exactly Bonjour-Hi, but this goes to what Holden's talking about. It's about stunt making. The mayor of Pierrefonds-Roxborough is the only bilingual borough on the island of Montreal. Of the 19 boroughs, it's the only one that's officially bilingual.
Yeah,
Has
I got the
majority
status.
Anglo population.
Yeah.
They have that status.
Yeah.
So Jim Bass, the mayor of Pierrefonds-Roxborough, was at city council last night, and he's hitting the administration. He's slamming them on what he said was a very slow and almost non-response in terms of emergency preparedness for the flooding. He noted that that it took 6 days for the city to declare a state of emergency, which actually means when that happens, new resources, funds, overtime, etc., like work and resources and help is made available.
This is the rain flooding or the Laurentian flooding?
This is the rain. So he was denouncing that. And he was saying it in English in council, and you hear quite a bit of English in council, I mean, but not the majority of the discussions. But anyway, he made that point in English. And then the administration's point person on public security, Alain Vaillancourt, kind of like dismissed his comments. And then he answered again and said it was a fiasco. People were calling 311. The 311 was saying call the borough. The borough was calling the Red Cross. The Red Cross was calling 311. He says it was a circus. People were devastated. They're watching their homes, their insurance, their homes are turning into mold. He says, and there was no sign of the administration being on the scene to help reassure people. Help is coming. He says, we were as borough teams going out, slogging, pulling people's furniture out of their basements. He said, where was the city? Where was the administration? Valerie Plante got up. The first thing she said was, I find it very peculiar that my council colleague is addressing this council in English with an English question. She says, and I have to call it out because it happens often from that side. Now, there were some groans from the other side, but there was also a lot of enthusiastic nodding and murmuring in agreement on her side. And then she went on to answer, dismissing his concerns, and there was a bit of debate about that. But then he came back in French and said, I can ask the question in French, I can ask the question in English, I can ask the question in Greek, I can ask the question in Italian. The point is, the administration failed the residents and the citizens. That's the question.
These are all the languages he speaks. Is this the point he's making?
Well, no, listen, I know for a fact that he's fluently trilingual. He speaks Greek as well.
Right.
But, Italian's an easy language. And if you're in Montreal, chances are you could probably pick it up.
I don't agree with that, but whatever.
But, well,
it's a language like any other language.
His point was
There's
pretty
some
clear.
that are easier than others. That said,
now I feel like a terrible Italian.
he has the right, and his colleague Chantal Rossi from Montreal North also got up in his defense and said, listen, he is the mayor of Montreal's only bilingual borough. He has the right to address this council in French. We have Montreal citizens, in English. We have citizens who speak English and French, and telling him or criticizing him about it is affecting his privilege as the mayor of a bilingual borough. The speaker ruled against that. It was an offense or an insult to him. Instead, she agreed it was just an assertion of fact. But here we go. So why did the mayor answer? Like, what was it about his questioning and the points about 311 and 911 being understaffed and the city not declaring state of emergency? And him noting also afterwards today in the media, he noted that when the pipe blew in downtown, the mayor and her staff were there within a day or so with hard hats on, like inspecting. But he says we were left out, ironically, to dry. No pun intended. But her first response was to call him out for speaking English.
Yeah, but you see, that to me,
what is that? I'm asking.
That's the crutch. That's the failure. That's the failure of our political system in Quebec, and that's our failure of how to say subjects or residents of this system, is that we allow that. We basically allowed Valerie Plante, and we continue to allow her to do that. We do the same. We let Francois Legault do the same thing. We allow them to distract us with absolute folly and silliness like this. It's just like, here's a problem. Don't look at that problem, because
Right.
we're actually accountable and responsible for that.
Look,
We can
look at
do
the
something
shiny,
about.
look at the shiny thing in the corner right
Look
here.
at this shiny thing here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That we can all like have a big hate on about it.
Right.
That creates this division and separates us as a populace, right? That really, at the end of the day, is not serving any purpose other than feeding some sort of like legitimacy or someone's power base in order for them to impose an agenda they feel that is appropriate.
Right.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
You know,
Holden, what do you think? Why would the mayor of Montreal do that?
It's good politics. I am fully convinced that the English vote's pretty irrelevant in the grand scheme of things if you're trying to win an election, because if only like 25 to 30% of us are going to vote in the first place, and we're only 12.5 or 8% of the province and 12.5% of the city approximately, then bro, you're like, what, you're going to worry about what 4% of voters are going to think? It's irrelevant.
Or is one angry language hawk vote worth a lot more than an apathetic, unreliable Anglo vote?
Well, I think this is what Trump does, right?
I just think
he
that,
tries to rile the base, like the anti-abortionists, the pro-gun people, because they show up at the polls and they cast ballots, right? They're motivated,
and they volunteer.
Right? Exactly. So
I just also think that, like, for the most part, most people, as in literally most, not our perceptions, just kind of take the shit as a matter of law and fact, right? Like, it's just what it is. So if Valerie's gonna be like fucking anti-English on some weirdo principle shit, that's not even like registered for the most part by most people. English people will notice it, but I don't actually think your average French speaker is gonna care or register it or associate with it like that. It would just be weird if she didn't do it. So it's just the status quo. If anything, you want to talk about Valerie, bring a bike pass if you want to find out how people are going to vote, because the English-French thing is not even a concern for your average person when they talk about her.
Saying that, if you look at
what's a bike pass?
I do think she does everything she does for the sake of politics. Everything these people do is politics, media, and capitalism. It's what can be done to stay in power.
What's a bike pass? What about the bike pass?
Okay, guys, I just want to say a little piece before we go on. If you look at the demographic composition of the city of Montreal, more than 50% of the population now, it's non-francophone, right? It's cultural minorities, it's cultural, it's visible, they call it cultural visible minorities and cultural minorities, allophones, anglophones. They now make up more than 50% of the city's population. So I'm still confused, and I can't understand how, like, this kind of like this Quebec nationalist language politics narrative works for Valerie Plante. I don't understand how
you just explained it with the Trump example.
Actually, I'm gonna have to.
You think that's what it comes down to?
I'm gonna have to disagree with that perception too. I was gonna say, Alex, do you not talk to a lot of immigrants about this shit? Because I do, and here's how people tend to feel. I left my country to come here. Right. I, of all the places, chose this Quebec place. The Quebec place has these rules, and I feel this is better than my home. I may not like this English-French shit, but I did choose to come here, and unlike you angry Anglophones, us allophones kind of signed up for this shit. And a lot of them really just do speak French, and they don't care. They're happy to learn it. They get excited about learning it, because if you're not from here, what's learning a new language? You probably know 3 already. So, like, what's the extra one? It's not even an issue to people. It's a frustration when bureaucracy fucks with your life, but that's a frustration in any language. And yes, it's a logistical here, but why would somebody who's left a place that is, in their opinion, worse for whatever reason, They came here for education, economic status, fuck, it could be refugee shit. And then they're going to come all the way here to Canada where it's wild safe. You can walk around Montreal and not worry about getting robbed. That you can't say that all over the world. And then you're going to be mad at the government that keeps you safe over French shit. Because, like, if you're looking at the broader picture, like the really broad picture, language issues is fucking nothing compared to what a lot of places deal with.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
bike path.
I think there's an opportunity there because I think that part and parcel of the linguistic debate, undercurrent of it all is this identity politics that's being expressed, right? It's always there, right? And I think that when we saw the comments coming from the CAC representatives, well, just in the news today, Legault wants to shut down temporary immigration labor, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's always this constant assault, right, on immigrants. It's this constant assault on this idea that, immigrants are exasperating the housing problem, that
You think there's absolutely no foundation to that?
I don't think I don't think immigrants are causing our housing problem. I think housing problems caused by us, buddy. We're the reason why there's a housing problem, not because of the immigrants.
You could put a lot of blame on old people who want to not move out of their houses because.
Hey, are you Justin Trudeau's speechwriter? Because he was doing
Is that what he
recently.
says? I did ask. I did ask.
That's his narrative with the young.
I mean,
crowd.
But this is how I've felt.
That old people have too much house. Canadians have too much.
Hold on, but this is something that, regardless of Trudeau, like I have some friends in real estate and shit, and they kind of go like, yeah, actually, there's not really like people be selling like that. Like it's pretty fucking hard to buy a house, is my understanding, in a good deal unless you're leaving the island, because people. Like, and this is more like I'm not saying this is a right or wrong way to look at it. I didn't buy a fucking house and own that asset, but like at a certain point, if you hold that house forever and ever and ever and ever, and you live 30 years longer than people did 50 years ago, that has a huge impact on a housing market.
You're getting money out of that. Yeah, you got your money's worth.
Well, immigrants, you look at an immigrant family, there'll be like 5, 6, 7, 8 people in a household, right? You look at I don't know what you want to call us, the Manja Cakes now, or the established Canadians, right? Like a lot of us live alone, or in terms of the people, if you look at the people that occupy a household, it's far less. It's like 3 people instead of 4 or 5. This has an impact on the housing stock. But saying that, let's get into the housing and social housing.
Yeah, can I inject a tiny amount of so-called good news?
Yes.
Apparently, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the little parking lot behind the Metro grocery store on Queen Mary. There's a parking lot behind the store, and then there's a municipal lot with 17 spots.
I'm very familiar with it, yes.
Okay, so that 17-spot lot is no more. It's been closed permanently. It is being sold by the city to Habitat for Humanity for the sum of about $82,000. It's evaluated at $990,000, which is twice what its value was 6 years ago. So the city's giving it to Habitat for Humanity for $82,000 on the condition that they build 6 units there within 4 years. So there's going to be 2 triplexes. Right. So some people, and the houses are geared for, now this is not official, but this is what I understood right away, that the mayor of Côte-des-Neiges, NDG, says that mortgages will be limited to 30% of income, and for a period of a decade. And I guess some of the criticism I heard was that could this land have fetched more than $1 million from a private developer, and that million gone straight to a hard build of social housing elsewhere? But the city's been criticized for passing up on many opportunities, and they're just mounting a housing fund. Like it also happened in Côte-des-Neiges, elsewhere in Côte-des-Neiges this year. The property on Wilderton and Van Horn, if you know the old Wilderton shopping center, was redeveloped. It was a beautiful redevelopment, but there's a big lot at the northwest corner of Wilderton and Van Horn that's sitting vacant. And the reason for that is that was supposed to be a social housing project with 22 homes. and the developer balked because apparently the scuttlebutt is it didn't get the money it needed or was promised from the feds or the province for it. And so instead, they took a deal and they handed over 420 grand to the borough for their social housing fund. And now they don't have to build social housing. So the administration sit on that mounting cash, and they're just waiting for an opportunity to build somewhere else, or when something else comes up.
But also, I'm just gonna say, 6 units just kind of feels like a pebble, a little pebble.
Sounds like a what?
A little pebble.
Considering there's more than like 20,000 families that are looking for housing. But it's something. That's the answer it's going to be.
I'm not the person that is going to solve the housing crisis. I'm barely passionate about it. I know it's important. I do care greatly. My girlfriend cares way more than I do. So by osmosis, I now care a lot more than I ever thought I would. But,
it's amazing how that happens, Olin.
It really does. But she knows shit, and she be telling me shit, and now I can't unknow the shit. And honestly, Valerie Plante could prioritize housing a lot more, and she probably should.
There's $15 million in the city's fund for social housing that's come directly from developers who have said, "No, I'm not going to build it, but I'll pay you cash." So they have $15 million.
But
some people believe they're waiting for the big hippodrome hit, and they're going to dump the money in there.
So saying that, like when I look at the landscape in NDG, CDNDG, we got the hippodrome. I haven't heard or the blue bonnets. I like to call it blue bonnets because that's when it was called originally, right? And I haven't heard squat or boo about that.
So there's a petition now circulating,
right?
The National Assembly petition,
right?
About 1,200 signatures so far,
right?
To get demanding that Quebec insist to Montreal, to the city of Montreal, that it honor the original agreement from 2008, when it was given the land for $1. Land worth over $50 million was given for $1 on the condition that they complete the Cavendish extension.
Right. Oh my God, they really need to do that shit.
And the city had a plan 2 years ago that it presented to the BAP, to the Bureau d'Audience Publique, and then it withdrew it from its plan that it released earlier this year.
Yeah, I remember that.
For the whole sector. And now the sector, now it's not the Hippodrome Namur sector, now is extending east across the Carrie. So there's going to be more building going on east across the Carrie. And if you listen to some of the narrative around the housing that's intending to be built, now they're talking about 20,000 homes they're going to build altogether. And there are some people going around who are supportive of the current plan. I don't know how they got this idea. It could be misinformation, I don't know, that there's going to be 10,000 social housing units, and nobody ever even remotely proposed 10,000. Anybody who's opposed to the current plan because it excludes the Cavendish extension is being painted as an anti-housing naysayer and someone who's cruel to the vulnerable. I mean, it's nonsense. It's horseshit, is what it is.
Yeah, but when you look at the development
that way really easily,
especially in this city, in this part of town, sure.
When you look at the development east of the Cary Expressway, then the Mirror Triangle, what they refer to, right? That's private developers building condos, but that's what's happening there, right?
But private development is what they're hoping for.
I understand, but this is not like the private developers now have
you guys seen the Royal Mount ads?
So hold on, they lifted some of the conditions on building, The city was, remember its big popular bylaw, the 2020.
Yeah.
They removed some of those conditions earlier this year to make it easier, like they did certain exemptions and less money to put forward because it wasn't working.
Right.
There was a lot of fanfare about how great it would be, and then when they found out it didn't work. They lifted some of the rules.
There's no fanfare about it being changed, of course. There's only fanfare
here's
when it
how
happens,
I see this shit going down. Royal Mount requires rich motherfuckers in walking distance, or the entire project fails.
Yeah, but the Mount Royal project is in the town of Mount Royal. They're not governed by the same rules and regulations as the city of Montreal, right?
Yeah. I'm saying the Royal Mount shit that's across the street of DeCarry, I don't care if it's in TMR or whatever, that project at a geographical proximity level, they're bragging in their
never
current
gonna
ads,
get it's not gonna get
upscale stores are currently booked in that shit.
Yeah.
That means rich people shit. Like
and then people who are gonna go buy a Louis Vuitton suitcase aren't doing it from De La Savane Metro. I don't care how nice the walkway is.
So that's one of my big things. But I will say, driving Uber, there's a possible flex to create a pipeline for tourists to actually create enough sustainable traffic to that mall that mixed with locals, it
Not
could do
yet.
some damage. But
Listen,
it requires
Royal Mount,
all those fucking condos to get
Baker
built with the
Carry
20,000
going.
people.
Listen, and I think in 2 weeks, the city of Côte Saint-Luc's holding a public information session and one of the things they're discussing is the redevelopment of Baker Carry. So wait till that happens. That if you have to get anywhere from say Plamondon or even Van Horn north to the Met around the Décarie area, Jean Talon, Walmart, Hippodrome, Namur Metro, the Triangle, the Met.
Going to
It's
Laval
a
at any
sucker's
time of the
game,
day.
man, by
It's
car.
a parking
Sucker's
lot.
game.
It's
No
gonna be a
way,
parking
no
lot.
way.
You can't go
No way.
anywhere.
I can get to Ville Saint Laurent in a sixth the time by taking my bike.
Right.
My kidneys get a
You
little
can go
loosened
under
up
the
because
path.
the roads are
You
bad.
can
But
just go under that beautiful path next to the craft shop.
Okay, I have to ask, Joel, how do you get to Ville Saint Laurent? You live in Côte Saint Luc near
Snowden,
McDonald,
Snowden area,
right?
yeah.
So how do you get
Yeah.
to Ville Saint Laurent? Tell us.
You just
By
pop
bike.
across the Carry and you head up Lucerne.
You go up Lucerne.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's how you do it?
I mean,
so I
you
used
can
to, I
snake
used to do it
behind the
too.
Hippodrome, but it's a mess.
I
It's a
do
nightmare.
that. Oh
Yeah,
my
no,
gosh.
you're inhaling too much shit when you're driving
So
through
I used
there.
to do
No.
that when I did the trip because for a very long time I cycled from DG to where the Gouzeau is, and
Yeah.
you just go up Devonshire and then under
Right.
Devonshire.
Yeah, but there's too much
is the
dirt
train
and the
track
road is
shit,
and they're not
and,
paving the roads there. They said this. The borough said they're not going to redo it for now.
I was never afraid of the potholes, and then I never thought about the pollution before, as you're
Oh
saying.
yeah,
it.
the
I
construction,
probably
the
don't-
gravel,
I don't necessarily think as much about but I haven't gone since they really started construction there. I used to go before they really did, and it was pretty fine. But yeah, you could, because like underneath Devonshire, there's
well, you
like
have
the
to
train
go on the
tracks.
you have to wait for the train to pass. Yeah.
I rarely encountered it. It did happen, but rarely.
I counted and had to wait a few times. Too long for
and
my
then
taste,
like there's
but-
this like suicide message that's only in French, and that really bothered
Right.
me. I'm like,
Why?
that's a very stupid thing to
Well,
only
think
be
about
in
the
French.
immigrants. They don't care.
I'm just saying, like, if
I know
if you're
it's
concerned,
stupid. It's stupid.
it's like if you-
Exactly. It's stupid.
Anyway,
It's
that's a
stupid.
time when language politics is fucking dumb. When it's an anti-suicide message. I digress. That's a real thing. You can go look at the sign.
Well, maybe Anglos don't need that reminding. I don't know.
And then,
they want us
Maybe
to
we
commit
already
suicide.
maybe we already know we don't want to do it.
Uh,
I don't know. It's,
but when you cross over,
Or
you're
maybe they want us to
basically,
commit suicide.
Yeah, when you cross there,
hey
you're
guys,
right in Ville Saint Laurent. It's easy
back at-
peasy lemon
I'd
squeezy.
like a nice
ugly shit.
north-south option. Well, listen, when the green route comes underneath the hydro line, which
Right.
crosses around Robert Burns, through
right.
Côte Saint-Luc and NDG, that's going to be beautiful. You're going to be able to travel north-south in a few years, but
Wait,
that's
what?
coming.
What are we talking
Right.
about?
Under the hydro line that, where Robert Burns and Côte Saint-Luc Road, that big hydro line that goes right above the overpass, the underpass, that goes north and south. And that is going to have a nature path that the idea is supposedly to cross the CP line, which Cavendish hasn't done yet, but a bike path maybe. So
They
maybe
did that in Laval. When you cross over to Laval, right? Because I've done that trip. I've done that trip going up to Saint Agathe, and you go through Laval and you follow the hydro lines for some time, and they have a nice
right,
bike
the
path
route
there.
verte. Yeah, you can end up in Saint Jerome. You can go.
Right.
You can go Petit Train de Nord.
You go over the bridge to the North Shore with Bois-le-Filion, and then
Right.
Bois-le-Filion, you catch the train de Nord,
The
the
Petit
trail,
Train,
and then you can Petit Train de Nord, then you can go up to Saint Agathe. Yes,
Right.
you could go right up to Mont Tremblant. In fact, you could
Right.
go up to right up to Mont Laurier using
Right.
that trail.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
ain't
nice
doing
trail.
that.
Yeah,
Is it all uphill?
it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's all uphill to
Yeah.
Saint Agathe, man. It killed
Yeah.
me. I
But
blew
then
out
it's
my
all
knee on that
downhill
ride.
back to
Couple
Montreal.
I really.
If I want dusty uphill, I take that little slope at the end of the falaise and I go up, and then I feel like I've done my share.
Okay, wait. I just want to go back in the housing thing, okay? Because
Yeah.
stop me if I'm wrong, but I had a memory, like I had this memory or this, I recall like Desiree McGraw, who's her M&A,
Yep.
right? From NEG. About a year ago, she was in the news, the Gazette. Allison
Hey,
Haynes did a piece on it. about how she wanted to reinvigorate some housing, social housing on
Yeah.
Walkley, excuse me, in Cavendish.
Yeah.
And then there's help me out, the Red Coalition. You have
Yeah, Joel
Joel
Belfoy.
Belfoy.
I was just with Morrow today.
He was harping about, there's buildings on Walkley, above Fielding that had been abandoned. And that was in the news, and the city just said they didn't have the resources and the money in order to invest there.
Everybody's pointing to the province.
Okay.
But the province is not releasing the funds.
But then Jason Magder did another piece in the Gazette just recently on the Cavendish project again, and then Joel the Belfoy said, you know what, this is racism here. They don't want to invest in the area because it's servicing, visible minorities. I think when he says that, he's referring to Black people. I think that's
So listen. You got to go back to the last election. Hold on, with Walkley. The last election, Joel de Belfoy noticed that the Walkley property, which has been sitting empty for like 9-10 years, but then it was about 6-7 years, was falling apart. It was dangerous. There were bricks falling. There was garbage, refuse. People were dumping shit there. The fence was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of a burgeoning housing crisis, the worst one on record in this city, in the middle of this borough, in the middle of this city, in the middle of this province, the middle that nothing was being done about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the Belfoy, and he's done this a few times. He leveraged the Montreal Citizens Charter.
That's right.
The charter that the city put out with great pomp and circumstance for rights of citizens, and he argued that infringed upon the charter rights of the Montreal citizens, and he sent a mise en demeure to Valérie Plante and to the borough, and said, this is discrimination against these racialized poor people,
right?
Leaving it in this state. Within days, there was a crew fixing the brickwork. Within days, they were fixing the landscape. They repaired the fence, but they didn't replace the building. They didn't repair the building. But they took care of the immediate because he lit a fire into their ass. And he did the same thing a few weeks later. I think it was Confederation Park, about a running track where the fence, they said, look at the other fences in other neighborhoods around Montreal. They're not dismissed like
that's
this.
the Roadrunners. I think it was driving that.
That was
too.
Joel de Belfoy helping the Roadrunners.
You walked into court with a 2x4, and that's what he did.
Right.
And that's what he did. He's good at that. But that shows you that, again, back to the whole Bonjour-Hi, when they were, this girl was putting out these meow, bonjour meows, like early in the middle of the night, and the city was removing them like an hour or two later. They're motivated. When they want to do something, they're motivated.
Yeah.
Man, I was always wondering if, how much of that was they tagged the sidewalk versus the message of it, because I ain't ever seen a sidewalk tag that was unsanctioned stay. Ever. It is something
you've seen it leave that fast?
I mean, I just never.
I've never seen stuff leave that fast.
I never see them on the sidewalk almost ever, because I do believe they get cleaned that fast, and that's why I'm noticing it. Because, believe it or not, that clothing store, that alleged copycat, has actually been doing this as a campaign for quite some time in Cotoneche, and
what was their message? What's their message?
Take care of yours.
Take care of yours.
Our quartier.
My quartier, yeah.
So they're like, from my understanding, they're a LaSalle-based clothing brand that has been leveraging this as a guerrilla tactic for a long time. And have you really seen it before? Nah, because when you tag the sidewalk, it gets clean quick. And I just do believe that there may be just an element of that, because I don't know if you noticed, but NDG did declare war on tagging at a certain point. The tagging you see is left on private buildings or buildings the city is not responsible for, and literally everything in the jurisdiction of the city gets cleaned fast.
Right.
In general.
My only comment.
Maybe it needs to be tested.
My only comment on that is that when I believe was it you, Joel, you contacted the city, the porte-parole pour la ville de Montréal. Her response, c'est pas autorisé. It wasn't authorized, right?
Right. It doesn't matter what the message was. It's not authorized, right?
That's what I'm saying.
My question is that would something like that, in NEG, which
right,
is the
the answer is right.
Would it ever get authorization? No,
right.
Of course not. Like even you know, you see the Rendezvous that's happening in Girard Park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Imagine Moncton,
Which
right?
they said was going to be like Bryant's Park in New York City.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't. Let's
missed
not
that. It
talk
was
smack
supposed
about
to be like
homie.
what?
Rendezvous
Excuse me?
Bistro man said, Holden, we are open to booking you. We got love for him on the Trainman report right now. That's what I'm saying.
Right on.
Well,
Are we going to
my
hear that
only-
new
Actually,
my
beat?
like, yo,
my
on some
only-
real shit.
Are we going to
he's
hear
doing
that
some
new
cool-
beat?
Oh, we can play a little figure. Yeah, I'll perform that.
It
I
better
got no
come
problems.
soon there, Holden, because you know, like,
happening.
there's a
Alright.
lot of pent up like
I would write
interest
about
here,
that.
right?
So all I'm saying is Rendezvous Bistro, let's be clear, has done a pretty freaking good job of trying to be versatile with testing the waters. Like I spoke with homie behind it, and he's like, look, we in our first year, we going soft. We don't need no noise complaints. And like, so
It's
speaking
not
to
the
him,
bistro, it's the borough that decides how this is going to work or fail.
Right.
they're pretty much giving him autonomy on the music as long as the city don't
Oh, on the
complain.
music, sure.
And then,
The
but he's
messaging, I don't
allowing
think
for
so.
very, but yeah, but I spoke to him. I was like, can I swear? He's like, yo, you fucking Canadians with your censorship, you're the fucking ones who care. We're French. We don't give a fuck. So we're not dealing with Quebecers. They're France guys.
Right.
It's a different vibe.
So saying that, we skipped the community updates here, and I think that's kind of important.
You should do them.
Yeah, so this is a big week. Like, there is Imagine Moncton going on.
Imagine
and,
that.
And I be honest with you, I had a tough time finding the program for the week. I know that Dave Lazar is playing. Let me see if I can pull that up.
While Alex is doing that, I will say, Biz NDG, just saying, click on the page. The programming is there. When people are asking for the programming, as opposed to sharing an image, is not the best flex for guiding people.
Okay,
no disrespect to Biz NDG. That was just what I witnessed online. And as a former social media manager, I'm just giving y'all some insight. Make it easy, because it wasn't easy to find the programming, and a lot of people felt that way. So if the goal is to make it easier, the people who see those comments need to link directly to the stuff that they're directing, not have people be like on their own confused looking for it. Little basic social media skill updating.
I don't know, like it's.
I think a good barometer of how how to measure the success of this after 5-6 years being off would be how many people from outside NDG show up, because like Wellington, the beauty is this should be marketed. Get on the metro, head for Villa Maria, walk out the door. It's right in front of you. It's family friendly. It's fun. There's food. If the weather's good, there's going to be great music and activities. Like, it should be a no-brainer. It should be a real no-brainer. So we should see, great turnout. Or is it just going to be people walking down to Moncton?
So this is a screenshot.
Holden's making faces. He doesn't agree with me, or you do agree with me?
No, I agree with you on what should happen. What will happen is where I'm making faces with my projections. I do agree. You said it, and I'm like, shit. That's some good brand.
Head for Villa Maria. That's it for the next 4 days. Villa
Alex,
Maria
we can't see
Metro.
your screen.
I don't want you to see it. So this is a photo that a screenshot I took off Instagram about Imagine Moncton, and it was the only place I could get the program information. Now, I'm assuming that this is happening on Moncton, okay? Because it doesn't say this in this Instagram.
That's a fair assumption.
So okay.
Between Girard and Melrose.
So 22nd of August, right? We got at 2:00. We have Terry Joe Rodriguez. I don't know anything about this group. At 4, you've got Shad Chanier and Kevin Roach.
Harmonica guy. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know anything about them, but that's
great musician. Been around a long time.
At 6:00, you have Fatima Wilson. Interesting. At 7:00, you've got Just Costa. Okay.
I know them.
And at 20 hours, right? I believe that's 8
I think
o'clock.
they played. They played Porchfest, I think.
So you
they
got
also played the Art Suite last year.
Does anybody know who Expatrio is? I have no clue who these people are. So this is happening Thursday. Okay.
High key, if y'all like good music though, I can vouch for Just Costa. My understanding it's just the duo, not the full band this time, but they're really fun music. I don't know that I'd listen to them, but I would recommend them to a lot of people because I really think they're that good.
Okay, and then Joel, we have an event at help me out, the Wheel Club.
Oh, at the Wheel, yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Bro,
man. So I'm
gonna be there as well. So anybody wants to talk
performing.
Trainman, I'm gonna be the Wheel Club. When is the event again?
Thursday night. Doors open at 6, starts
Right.
at 7. It's like this
Well, what's
choir
up, Wheel Club?
karaoke sing-along thing. It's going to be a
Okay.
lot of fun.
So I'm gonna
Buy
be
a
there.
ticket on Eventbrite. It's going to be a
Okay.
lot of fun.
Now,
I'm gonna
on
be at the
Fri-
studio recording Bonjour-Hi.
You're going to hear me sing
Yay!
Bonjour Kishmir Tuchis.
Okay, continuing with that, back on Imagine Monkland, okay? We
Yes.
have, this is the 23rd of August, so this is the Friday. So at 2 o'clock, we have Mike Uzan.
Mike Uzan, who's actually been playing,
they
he's
just-
been
They
doing
just did Arts Week.
a happy hour gig with Cliff Schwartz at the Wheel Club before karaoke every Wednesday.
And Cliff
and
was
it's
there
great.
playing with
It's
them
great.
on Saturday.
Okay.
I will tell you one thing. If y'all like good covers, Homeboy can hit them notes.
Yeah.
It is a very
Agreed.
Caucasian experience. Very Caucasian experience. And y'all will love it if you want sing-alongs of a
So
certain
much for
age group.
Grant.
Going on. I'm going on. At 4
Actually,
o'clock.
no, they don't need grants. They
Dave
just get
Lazar.
booked.
Dave
They're good.
Lazar at 4 o'clock with Iguana
Dave
on
Lazar,
Fire.
Iguana,
Great
yeah.
group.
That's
I
facts.
saw them at the Porch Fest. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
At
And he's
6
been on
o'clock,
our show, so shout
Yeah.
out
It's
him.
funny. I
Shot.
couldn't make it to his show, but I saw him at all the other shows, like in the crowd.
So at 6
Couldn't
o'clock
make
we
it.
have the Back Alley Roots Band. I think that's has to.
Isn't there a parade?
Isn't that rooted? Yes, but
That's
that's,
on Saturday.
That's Saturday. You're getting ahead of me there, Joel. Please.
You are getting ahead, Joel.
Yeah.
Come on, Joel.
And
Relax,
Trainman
please.
will be at the parade, right? It starts at 2 o'clock. It's on Monkland. I'm assuming the.
But what's the parade gonna? Is this the one with the
Alright,
giant
so
puppets?
this is the
Yes,
the puppet
I'll be there
parade.
at the train.
marionettes?
Lots of
So
silliness,
they've been doing the puppet camp the last, like, it's actually really cool. They've been doing this puppet camp thing pretty much the last week and change, and I think they're meeting at St. Raymond's in the park. And they pull up, and it's like a big arts and crafts session where
Yes.
like they're
Right.
learning how to make like fucking moving birds, and it's like for the
Yes.
families. But to be fair, it's also kind of lit for adults. Like if you're an arts and crafts person and you really into that shit, like you would have a blast doing this. And so, the puppet parade is like I think it's an hour to walk down Monkland or whatever the fuck they're gonna walk down, and it's gonna just be like all the shit that got made over the course of the camp, and it's pretty lit. Like for a concept.
Hey,
and-
Alex, are you the master of puppets? Are you a puppet
I'm
master?
going to be there. I'm the master of like cold water, making sure no one dies from dehydration.
Oh, is that right? You're gonna hydrate everybody?
That's
You're gonna
my
have
job,
a hose?
yes.
You're gonna hose everybody down?
I'll be there with the silly train trike.
Right
I'll
on.
be going as full train man.
Right
So,
on.
you know, come out and have a
Hey,
have a
watch
fun
out
time.
that ACN like sponsoring this event because
No,
you
they're
gotta watch
not.
it there, eh?
Yeah, will you
I
get
didn't
another
call and
cease and
did not ask.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Wait, guys. Okay, we're not finished yet. So we're at
There's
6
all-
o'clock on Friday. Okay, guys, come on, stay with me. Friday, 6 o'clock, the 23rd of August, we had the Back Alley Roots Band. Then at 7, we got the Groove Gang. And then at 8, we've got Mike Uzan again. So, yeah okay. So,
Oh, we got booked
moving on.
twice.
Yeah, he's going on twice.
Yeah, I think
He's
once
going-
he's
he's
going
going-
solo or one
Yeah,
like
and then he's going
acoustic
to
or
Quator. He's got a quartet at 8 o'clock. Okay, Saturday. Okay, whew. Man, there's a lot happening here. Saturday at 2 o'clock, we have Shahrazad Sab Zahali. Okay, I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. You know I'm not good at that. At 4, we got the Leonard Cohen tribute with Jerry Torres. At 6, we got Christian Cormeau family. Okay. At 7, we got Sideways Mirrors. And then at 8, we have Steve Johnson Jazz. And then ending out the program on Sunday, 2 o'clock, you have Double Tonic. Well, I kind of gin and tonic, double tonic. I can get my head around that. And then at 4 o'clock, you have Dave Lines. So that's the schedule, the program for Imagine Monkland. And to the wonderful people at Imagine Monkland, I just want to say to you how happy and pleased and honored of all the good work you're doing with our community. But just a little tip out there, I just get your program out there on other platforms than Instagram. Old people like me don't go to Instagram.
maybe they don't want old people like you.
Maybe they don't.
I mean, there's an argument.
What do you bring to
be
the
made.
table?
No, but
My old-
We don't want the alta cockers. No cash, all debit.
To be fair, most old people actually kind of have moved to Instagram at this point. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
have that shit.
Whatever you do Thursday,
But,
my girl's gonna lead a group
Yeah.
at Wheel Club and a great sing along. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna
If
be
it's
there.
I'll
not,
be
I'll
in
let you beat
Laval,
me at pool.
but
That's right.
that's fair. Unfortunately,
Go
I already
on
booked
Wheel
that shit
Club,
before I found out.
buy a ticket. I
I'll
think
be
there's a
buying
We
promo
should all
code.
do that.
I
And
think there's a
then
promo code.
also go to Imagine Monkland shit. I mean, it's look.
I
think
want to
it's
hear
really
more
cool.
about this pickle thing, this pickle like sponsorship.
Oh, I mean,
Like legitimately, I eat pickles. Like can we snag like a deal there on
I
that?
mean, you could buy their pickles if you want.
Do
For
they have
sure.
a grande gamme de produits? Do they like offer
Well, no,
sauerkraut
this
as
is
well? And
homegirl basically started the company kind of out the crib type thing. She came across a way to make fruit flavored infused pickles, so not like
Fruit
weed
flavor
infused.
infused pickles.
Yeah,
well,
like
my
cherry
grandfather, my
bomb,
Romanian Zeta, used to
citrus,
make
whatever.
pickled watermelon on his balcony on Linton in Cote-Neige, and it was
So
delicious.
these are just pickles. I don't want to give away her secrets, but it's pickles with a bunch of shit that gets thrown into the brine that effectively creates a new flavor. Like the shit is red, like when the cherry pickle. Like it's not even a
Well,
green
then
shit no
maybe
more.
it'll help stop COVID. If it's
So all I'm saying
severe enough.
is that she got that going on, and so along the way, somebody's like, "Yo, y'all should like talk. There's probably something to do there." And
Awesome.
I mean, I'm just trying to make
NDG
money off
person?
of pickles. Nah, she and Ville Saint Laurent maybe.
Okay.
Either way, Montreal. I'm not like, for me, Montreal, which is why a lot of the NDG local politics stuff kind of falls flat in a lot of people's face, because we don't spend enough time talking about how NDG connects to the bigger city. And if we don't do that, it's not even an honest conversation about its place within Montreal. That being said, when dealing with business, there's no business in NDG for me to be doing, so I have to leave, because where am I going to go do business?
So where the pickles are, dude.
Don't get me wrong, all love to Homers. They be good people. They helped us out with like Arts Week, and like there is shit happening, but like in the art world, bruh, like where? Where's the hustlers at? We gotta go to Saint Laurent to talk about how we wish there was shit in NDG. So that's why, like I've been complaining about this for years, but like motherfuckers, when you try to make your shit too family friendly because you catering to a bunch of homeowners and shit, etc., the consequence is the cool artistic vibe that once attracted everyone is not here no more, because it's sanitized as fuck, and they closed all the art venues and they closed all the fucking things, and like, where do you go? Where can I go perform without the city
You could
permission?
stand in front of the Empress and look longingly at it and wonder what could be.
Or even like
What?
the Snowden
Let
You
that
theory,
said it.
inspire
Okay,
right?
you
you.
said it. Joel, you said it. You said it. What the hell is going on with the Empress? Because I've seen.
Come on.
Ask your
There's
local city
nothing-
councilor.
I mean,
Oh,
look,
God,
you don't
how
need to
long is
ask a
this
local
gonna
city
drag
councilor.
on for?
The fact of the matter is, this
my
building
God.
will never be profitable as a venue, because already most of our venues are not profitable. Being as somebody in the entertainment scene, I can tell you that, like, if the cost of everything in music is approximately 40% more right now just because of COVID, shit, it's the worst time to renovate and open a venue at the moment, because who are you putting in that? That isn't local talent.
Not
You now
going to be
need
a
to-
venue. Not
So
gonna
there's
be a venue.
no sustainable business model that will have private investment want to take on the
Oh,
cost that would
private
go into.
investment.
Never gonna happen.
Weird.
And if the city funds it, what are they funding? They already have venues in NDG. You can go through them and get
They're
the
going to
fucking
fund some
shit
kind.
on
I think it's going to end up
Monkland
being some
and
kind
Benny.
of cultural space,
Yeah, they
That's
already
it.
cultural
launched the
meeting
plan
But
for
space,
it.
like,
They launched the
community
plan last
offices.
election with Sue Montgomery, and they did a whole bunch of podium things. And
Well,
now we're
you should
here.
ask Michael Shafter. He has lots of ideas for it.
Oh my God. I love you, Michael Shafter. Like your ideas.
look, all I'm saying is that, like, as much as I want to talk a lot of stuff, the fact is that everybody in NDG can go downtown honestly in like 30 minutes or less. So why do we, like, you would have the legitimate and genuine argument, do we really need to bring that culture to NDG when there's so much shit? And
Okay.
it's not my place to answer, because everyone knows what I want. I want the shit
Stop.
right here.
Stop.
But
Okay.
it's a bigger city conversation.
All I'm talking about right now is the presence of this dilapidated building, right?
Oh, you
Across
wanted
from the
to
park,
break
right?
it down or leave
Formerly
it?
known or known as the
Wait till
Empress Theater.
the Canada Post building goes up for sale
Like
on
what?
Sherbrooke.
what, are we just
The
gonna
depot,
leave
that's
it
a
like
beautiful
that?
building.
Is that the plan? Is it gonna be left like that? Or is the city,
What?
why don't we just give it to some private developer to do something with
Oh
it
no,
rather
Because
than
I'm
just,
that's
sure
evil.
nobody
just,
wants it.
yeah,
But I
but
don't think
why?
anybody. The
But
only
it,
because like you would obviously have
how
to, and
long
I'm
are we
saying
gonna
you
let
would need
that
to do this
building
with a
stand
cultural
there and
heritage
fall apart?
clause, because
How
people
long
don't
No,
is
but
want you to break that
right?
building.
I hear you.
That's
I hear
right.
you.
That's right.
I'm not arguing with any of your points.
Right. It's not an argument. You're just. It's like you're expressing exasperation. I understand.
It's all I'm doing. Like, how long is it gonna take for something to happen there? I just, it's
Norris
been
Day.
waiting for decades and
Right.
decades.
So
I've been
imagine how much
involved.
you'll appreciate it when you finally get good
Oh,
news.
thank you very. That doesn't really make me
Doctor,
feel
it
any
hurts when I go
better.
like this. So
All
stop
I'm
going like
saying
that.
is, the unfortunate reality is because we're so close to downtown, I don't think that a lot of my dreams of culture are there. So when I have to go do cool business, it can't just be with NDG. There's not enough. There's
Well,
not
that's a
enough
different
local,
story. Yeah.
local shit for me to tap
Yeah.
into from a population density as an artist to focus on the 80,000, 70,000 people. Bro, that's smaller than. Now we're basically
On
a
that
tiny
part
town.
of the borough. Yeah.
Like there's just a tiny town at that point. So you have to tap into the bigger city. And that's just the reality. I think.
Well, that has nothing to do with the Empress. But yeah,
No,
I can see
but
that.
that's why
Yeah.
this all started with the pickle shit, of which I just
Right.
don't like pickles, and as long as I can make money off of not liking
No,
pickles,
I would be proud to endorse Holden, not on everything, but on this is the guy that's gonna come and hate your product.
it's weird. But in this one case, it'll
It's so
fucking work.
fucking crazy.
Because I brought it to the show, and there's a snippet that got filmed where you watching me like it's fucking disgusting. This cherry blood, but like the way I'm describing it is like I'm doing an ad read. So it's like,
Right.
it was really well
Well, listen,
done.
when she goes on Dragon's Den, you'll go with her. And you'll tell her it's the most
Well,
disgusting thing you've ever encountered in your life.
Holden, you will prove that there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Well, this is to
Coming
be
from the
fair,
Trainman.
but I'm
Coming
also
from the
sitting
man
here
who
not calling this
sent
bad
the
publicity.
CN legal department into apoplexy.
I just personally, I'm out there, and I think this is my greatest marketing campaign. I think this collaboration of using my pickle
is too
hate to sell
funny.
your product is
All our
it's
contributions
like
to humanity.
it's all of my fucking life's efforts combined into like expertise on
I'm so
max. Because
proud.
like you don't successfully pull shit off like this a lot. And it's such a weird, unique set of variables to allow this to
Hey,
make
I
sense.
want to before we wind down. I want to give a shout out. Did I mention Thursday night at the Wheel Club? My
You
girl's
did.
doing
Yes.
club
You can
choir.
mention
Okay.
it again, sir.
You
Yeah,
can.
just go and buy a ticket and have fun,
Yeah, right.
or I'll punch you in the face. Now,
Yeah,
I want to
I'll
give
be
a
in
shout
Laval.
out to
Woo.
two people if I can. One is the young employee at the McDonald's on Queen Mary next to the metro station, who clearly didn't know how to serve ice cream, who gave me and my girlfriend these massive vanilla ice cream cones last week. The biggest, it's like I was in an American suburb. I couldn't believe it. Like it had weight to it. My forearm got tired. And I was mangling it because I'm not an ice cream person, right? I'm not a dessert person. So I'm mangling it. And we get to the corner of the carry. My girlfriend reaches over and she hands me hers, which is like beautifully tapered. And she's been approaching it from the bottom and she knows what to do. She swapped the ice creams out. And I said, that's proper wifey etiquette. I have to give her a shout out as well. Also, at the intercultural shindig at Benny Park the other day, I met a lovely lady by the name of Corina Goldberg from the Mosaic, Maison Mosaic, which helps vulnerable families and offers a lot of services and outreach. She's a proximity outreach coordinator who helps vulnerable families and such. So she told me about what it is that she does. I'm sure there's a story coming there. Great work, great person doing it.
She's working NEG.
Yeah, she works in NDG. She works in the surrounding communities. She's
We should have her on the show. We should have her on the show.
Maybe you should. Maybe I'll make it happen.
Yeah, please.
Maybe you should.
Awesome.
I would like that very much.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And that's those are my shout outs for the week.
Awesome. Those
I
are
would
good
like
shout-outs.
to shout out Alex for holding it down in life. He made his wife happy this weekend. He made me less happy.
You
But
made your wife happy and you told everybody about it.
Let me shout out somebody else who was on the show. So, well, Alex decided to boycott my event in the efforts
That's right, I
of some
boycotted it. That's
poontang.
right. I had
I
signs.
respect
I was
it. He
outside.
was
Not
motivated by
going
his
to
hormones
show.
like a teenage
Pickle
boy.
eater.
I get it. But you know who did show up, but also showed up 5 minutes after I was finished performing? Rick Hoge and his son showed up.
Oh, he's a good guy.
5 minutes after I finished performing. I felt bad. I mean, it's not
He
my
went on
fault.
early,
'Cause
Holden. He went on hold really
went on-
early.
We went
Yeah.
on for all of y'all. Fucking old people who were like, are you really, literally, you were all like, you really want me out that late? So I said, okay. Let
Here
me
we
try
go.
to make this a little earlier for y'all.
Right here.
And I
Hey,
did.
listen.
Here we go
I
again.
Listen.
did.
I was doing serious hot yoga this morning at 7 a.m. So I have the right to be tired. Okay?
That's fine. That's
I have the right to
fine.
be tired.
Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to shout him out because y'all like all the way down from NDG to Saint Laurent, Duluth by bus with his son.
And
that was cool.
He also call out to him. He also shared our podcast last week with help me out, the gentleman's name there on the Terrebonne bike path. Oh my God, help me out. Something.
The
What's his
Terrebonne
name?
Bike Path group, upon which we started controversy and hundreds
Yeah,
of comments
it's
of
hard not to
vitriol
do that.
happened.
You mean the anti-bike path or the pro-bike
No,
path?
the pro bike path. No, this is the side
Oh, the
bike path
pro-bike
chat.
path, I was kicked
No,
out
this
of
is not the
twice.
pro bike
They
path
let me
or
in
the
twice
anti
and then
bike
ditched
path.
me.
This is the
Oh,
third
there's
one.
a new one, right? There's a new
This is the
Switzerland
Terrebonne
right?
Bike Path constructive conversation where
That's
Rick
right.
Hoge
Constructive
tries to make
conversation.
educational posts,
Right.
and
Right.
everyone else in the group is there to rehash the same argument. And there's only 85 people in this group, and I'm only there to make the incident report, make more incident reports in his life. And that's the only reason I'm there.
Okay.
That's
please,
it.
I've been
Holden.
driving the Terrebonne path. I like it. It's not busy, but I like it. There's not a lot of people when I go, but I like it a lot.
What was the gentleman's name that was on our show last night? What was his artist name? Help me out.
Oh, it's Morse Attack. Who
Morse
will
Attack, yes.
keep
Who
as
was
Morse
excellent
Attack
guest, by the way.
because
Very
he chose
intelligent.
not to have his government name on
Yeah.
here. And when you
Yeah.
are in a position like ours, and the person with an expert authority chooses to come and goes, can you please withhold my legal name, use this alias, what are you supposed to do? Be like, no, sir, I have to dox you on the internet because an incident report asked us to. Anyway, ridiculous shit. People's privacy should be respected, and their expertise is not relevant to their name.
Right, but
Had to be
leaving
said.
that aside, it was nice to have Morse Attack on the side on the
Yeah, he
show.
was great.
Rick Hodge reposted and promoted that on the pages in which he ministers. I think it was an excellent conversation. I think it appealed or addressed concerns on both sides of the subject, or all sides, I should say. It was,
But most importantly, he knew shit that was actual shit. Like, he wasn't talking from a place of speculation or opinion. He's like, this is the stuff the city looks at when they make these decisions, because we're the people who make the reports. He's one of the guys who gets paid to publish reports. He knows.
And then saying that,
if you're not that guy.
Morse Attack didn't really make a judgment call on the Terrebonne bike path. He framed the conversation in the sense like, we have to make decisions of society and, how we're going to move forward and organize our urban landscape. And he shared with us the data and the experience that cities have had in the implementation of such projects like the Terrebonne bike path. So I thought it was a really great conversation, and it was like a macro conversation.
Facts.
High level. So I want to thank Morse Attack.
It's my
We're
favorite
gonna have him back, 'cause
episode.
supposedly another one of his favorite topics is social housing, and I think that we need to have him back on the show to talk about that.
Absolutely. But yeah,
All right.
best
you wanna
episode
shut
we've
this
had.
down
No
here?
offense, Joel. We appreciate you, but that was
I
my
love
favorite
Joel.
episode of
Joel,
like, all the Trainman reports.
Yeah, just before we say goodbye, Joel, you are the last traditional remaining beat reporter.
NDG reporter.
NDG, yes. So
Amazing.
I want
His opinions are not that of the Suburban; they're of his alone. We didn't say that in this episode.
right. But I didn't want to focus on that. I wanted to focus on the excellent work he does.
He does.
How he contributes to our community. He helps us be informed. He when he does his when you read his articles, you can see they're coming from a place of knowledge.
Yes.
It's true journalism as
I
it
love
used
the
to
love.
be.
I love the
follow
love. Thank
Joel,
you.
Appreciate
And
all y'all who
really
watched
thank you
this.
so much.
Thank you all who watched this.
See you
Appreciate
Thursday.
everybody out there. We
Thursday.
we'll see you. You see him on Thursday, and you'll see us in 2 Tuesdays because we're not back next week. Appreciate everyone again for watching, and live long and prosper, everyone.